Ladies and gentlemen, you're now locked and loaded with your boy Femi and my accomplice, my partner in crime, Mr. Nazy.
Yo.
You know, a lot of people been talking that talk about you.
Here we go.
Saying that, you know what? Give this man a chance. You know what? Let him do an intro. Let him introduce himself. Let him not start on the back foot at the start of every podcast. You know what I'm going to say that? Do you know what I'm going to say to that?
What do you say to that? Yeah, fair enough.
I'm going to entertain it. So, Nick, this is your one chance. Prove me wrong. Prove the people wrong, bro. Do an intro and let's kill it, bro. All right, ready? Let's go.
So we're going to start from the intro. Well, it's hard because, you know, like, I need that device. I need to be able to play around with the tunes and stuff.
So I can count you
because
in.
if you really think about it,
What?
your intro goes as far as like, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Uncovered podcast with Nick and Femi. And that's it.
Well, that's crazy. That's why you don't do the intros. There's no charisma. I don't feel it. I don't feel your excitement to be here, Nick.
Well, like, look, to be honest, Femi, like, it's very hard to be excited having a conversation with you again.
Is that what you wanted?
No,
you wanted to laugh?
I just wanted to be honest with you.
You wanted to laugh?
I just wanted to be honest with you.
No, easy, man. Always a pleasure to see you. Always a pleasure to, you know, be in your company.
You're welcome.
So how you been, bro? Long time no see.
I know, like, I only saw you like last night when we did into the gym.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's a bit long. It is a long time, to be honest. We should be seeing our friends more often. But, you know,
100%.
doing well. I'm blessed.
Yes.
A lot of good things happening, you know, so can't complain.
Just had a very interesting conversation off air.
Oh, very interesting conversation. And I mean, look, you can share with these guys if they want.
Yeah. No, I feel like what we're talking about is we're just having a bit of a stupid conversation about, look.
Just tell them, bro. Say how it is.
No, we're just having a conversation about well-roundedness and what are the key factors to someone being well-rounded as a person.
Oh, a stretch of a way of delivering that.
No, but we have to.
I know what you mean. You can't just say.
Yeah, exactly. It would take too much context to be able to explain everything. Long story short, me and Nick were saying, all right, who's better?
Who's fresher?
Who's fresher? Who's more well-rounded? Not just looks and not just personality, not just intelligence. Like who's well-rounded? And we're having that conversation. And long story short, we couldn't come to a conclusion, to be honest.
Yeah, we couldn't come to a conclusion that we could all agree on. But to be honest, we never set our criteria, and that's what I was saying to you on the things. Like, you need to set what it is, because every time
each criteria needs to have a different weighting. That's the crazy thing. It's like does each criteria have the same weighting? Because it's like, is emotional intelligence the same as looks to people? Some yes, some no. So it's a very, very.
But that's different though, because it's like it's not about weighing up how emotional intelligence compares to someone with looks. It's just about like, okay, where are you at in the spectrum of all of that, and then you can see who's more well-rounded.
Yeah, but if you've got 5 or 10 different criteria points, right? Yeah. Each of those criteria points equally
the same.
Yeah, they're equally as important. But some people know, like, so some people like intelligence and humor is 50% of it, and like looks might be there, but you know it's not the most important thing.
Yeah, but that's a completely different conversation. That comes a conversation. Okay, like what traits do certain people want more than others? But all we're just looking at is that, like,
around. Okay, so who's got? So there's 10
like there's
boxes.
10 areas.
There's 10 boxes. Who's ticking it as above average?
Exactly. That's the conversation. That was the conversation.
So I look. Yeah,
that's how I was looking at it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, fair enough, but. I guess we'll never really know because it's so subjective. In my opinion, I'll have a different opinion to you. You know what I mean? I think you're fresh. Don't get me wrong. I think you're very fresh.
Like I think that's something that we can completely be objective about.
Objective.
Yeah, 100%. But it's like when it comes to weighing those type of areas that we came up with, and for you guys that are listening, the areas that we're looking at, not all of them, but some that came to mind was like EI.
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah, your health, your looks, your achievements, your drive, all these random stuff that really mean nothing, but that's
absolutely not.
But that's what we're weighing it on.
And we're just
you can be objective with that, I feel, to a certain degree.
How can you be objective that you are more like what?
When you look at someone like, for example, you put up if let's say for a career, you could say Bill Gates. Compared to me.
Sure. I guess, but like, yeah, career-wise, who's achieved more career-wise? Yeah.
Yeah, you can be like, that requires some tangibility to be able to be like, okay, well.
Okay.
Like, I guess, obviously, more than less, yes, but you can obviously argue and be like, oh, not really.
Yeah.
But more than less, like, that's the easiest way to look at it. It's like, okay, well, show me your shit.
Yeah, exactly. I've got the biggest company in the planet.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
And I started it myself.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, come on, think. All right. But that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today.
Literally nothing.
Nothing. We're just talking some shit, man.
That's it.
It's always good to have a laugh. But what's today? Such a change of pace. What we're going to be talking about is mindfulness and meditation. So we're talking about mindfulness and meditation today, guys. So, and the whole point of mindfulness and meditation is to not feed the ego.
Yeah, to not feed the ego.
Oh, shit.
Man. We're good examples for this. But you know what? We're just being real because it's just like, at the end of the day, like, you're going to have times we have conversations like this. And it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Like, just the fact that we're talking about this doesn't mean it's a bad thing. As long as you have the awareness and you're like, well,
exactly.
I'm not using it to stroke my ego.
And we're just literally just banner. We're just having a laugh. We're just talking about mates. It doesn't mean that like we're writing our self-worth or our value of ourselves based on these conversations and what Nick thinks or what people on the internet think. Yeah. So it's just kind of like just a bit of fun. So if you're not at that point that you can do that, don't do it.
Exactly. It also comes down to who you're doing it with as well. Like even though I know Femi and I do a lot of this stuff and we're very quite self-aware, or we try to be, I still did a little bit of a pre-frame. It's like, oh, I don't want this to stroke their ego, blah, 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 blah. So that stuff's always necessary as well.
Exactly. So with that being said, Nick, how would you actually describe mindfulness? Because I think that people just see mindfulness as meditation, or yoga.
Yeah.
But what is mindfulness to you?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And to me, when I look at mindfulness, I would define it as the state of being absolutely present. The state of being just calm with your mind, not future pacing, not worrying about too much, but just being present with what it is. And that sounds very simple, but it's actually very difficult to achieve because our minds are so active. We're always thinking about so many different things that when we try to be like, when someone tells you, okay, just stop for a second and just calm down and be present with where you're at the moment, it's challenging. And that's why I think the beauty of practicing mindfulness is amazing. And there's so many benefits when it comes to people that suffer with a little bit of generalized anxiety or depression or all these type of illnesses. It's very helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, spot on, man. I think that it also comes down to a level of consciousness. And, I think that consciousness, that term has been a little bit bastardized and perverted by the whole, the woke community.
The woke community.
Shout out to woke community, though. If you're woke, shout out, man.
But you know what? Like, I'm still to this day confused about, like, what is woke?
I think work is consciousness. Work is being aware. Yeah, it's like being aware. That's what they talk about, consciousness, like that level of consciousness. I think in terms of like mindfulness, let's not talk about woke people, bro. Like, shout out to woke people. I love what you guys are trying to do. I like your message. Sometimes it's a bit conspiracy theory for me. It's a little bit left. In the word tree, there's 4 letters and there's 4 mountains in Mount Rushmore. That means that means that the president started global warming to be able to, like, come on, G, like, relax. Yeah. Like, you pulled a hammy with that stretch. Yeah. So, but anyway, don't get at me, woke people, because you guys are, you guys love to jump on shit and really cancel.
That's what you open yourself up to be honest.
Don't cancel me. I like you guys.
Take it to Who's Femi on Instagram. Don't take it to Nick and Femi, because I'm not part of that.
Yeah, don't cancel Nick and Femi. Cancel me. I don't really care. You can cancel Femi, but don't cancel Nick and Femi.
You're always open for those conversations.
I'm always open to get canceled. I don't mind getting canceled.
You love it.
It's like, if you want some smoke, I'm on it. Like, that's as simple as that. So you love it. But anyway, consciousness, right? Yeah. It's about being able to not be so passive in the way that you are in life, and not be so just pinballed around in life, and actually being able to be aware of what's going on, who's actually in front of you, what's the conversation that you're having, what are the thoughts that you're having, being able to identify the thoughts that you're having and pick the ones that you want to have. That's the whole point of mindfulness. And since I've been practicing it, my meditation, so for a while, I've seen a massive difference in the way that I kind of interact, the way that I see myself, the way I see the world, and the way that I'm much more kind of grounded in my approach to life. What we do presently, we did like a meditation course. You guys didn't have to do a meditation course, but we did a meditation course that taught us how to do a Vedic meditation. Vedic meditation for 20 minutes twice a day.
Oh, no, it was a Vedic bean technique. It was a state of being. Is that the same as Vedic meditation?
Shit, I don't know.
I don't know. All I know for sure is that we were practicing entering a state of being.
Yeah,
which is like Vedic. A state of absolute, essentially.
Yeah, and I think that what we could actually do once this COVID stuff settles down is we can get our meditation teacher. We've had him on the podcast before, Mr. Ryan Magic, shout out, to talk about it in a bit more detail.
You know what I would love to do? I actually want to learn how to teach meditation because I think like ever since we've been doing
it's been a game changer for my life.
It's a game changer for
I swear to God.
It's like, I can't recommend it enough.
At all.
It's the biggest game changer because especially with you guys, I think especially for guys that are like busy trying to do things and all that stuff, changes the game for you so much in terms of how you show up.
Yeah.
And a lot of the foundations that are built off meditation, like some of the things that you consume and stuff like that, like it just couples each other so well. So I'd actually like to learn to teach meditation because I'd love to be able to like pave that way to people. But in the meantime, you can get a definitely Ryan to come in and maybe do like a course and teach people how to meditate. Like, what do you reckon?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we'll facilitate how that kind of looks like.
Yeah.
But I think that it's, like you said, it's such an important part of life. And I think that people are starting to get a little bit of a whiff of like how important meditation is, but not enough people deep it. Meditation allows you to be in the midst of chaos or life or thoughts and whatever and choose serenity. That's the biggest thing that I've learned about meditation is that serenity is a choice and the thoughts that you have is a choice. The way that you feel is a choice. And for the longest time, I was a very much like a reactive person. I would react a lot more. And I think until meditating, I was like, you know what? I actually have the choice not to take those thoughts that I've gotten. Because that's the whole thing about meditation is like you're sitting there. The way we meditate is there's no music, there's no guidedness. It's literally just you sitting in a room, whatever, with just your thoughts. Like no headphones, no nothing, right?
Exactly.
And I think that you're constantly battling with you have thoughts and you're constantly having to say, I'm going to choose my mantra or the way I look at it might not be right. I need to learn how to teach. But the way I look at it is that I choose serenity. I choose to align myself with that kind of calmness and the stillness that is with the mantra. Rather than listening to my thoughts and be like, you still got this to do, you still got that to do, da, da, da. And it's like, well, that's choosing chaos rather than choosing my own serenity, my own peace.
100%. And I think that's the biggest thing for me as well, because when you're in it, especially for anyone that's about to do it the first time, you're going to realize how many thoughts you actually have. And the interesting thing that I found is that some of the thoughts that you have are even some things that you've experienced like so many years ago. You're like, oh, is this still in my mind? Which is very fascinating. And then when you replace it with the mantra, it just really helps you be able to just be like, let me be present, let me be calm, and let me just focus. Because a lot of the times we struggle to just focus. We get so overwhelmed and we, like I said, we get pinballed around. And I think that for me, one of the biggest things that you said that I think is so correct is the choices. Because a lot of times, like we're so reactive, we're like, okay, well, I want a coffee because I'm tired. And I choose to think that as my belief. So instead of that, I replace that with like a caffeine hit or something like that. But with meditation, because I'm so in my thoughts, I know what actually gives me energy. I believe this gives me energy and gives me the need to show up, that I choose that I don't actually need caffeine anymore. That's just a belief that I put in myself as a reactive measure based to whatever kind of bullshit or experiences that I've had in the past that's been so fundamental. So I think meditation, like for you guys that are wanting to start it, like I think there's so many apps out there, like One Giant Mind, that can help and guide you through it. But there's also like some playlists on Spotify as well that are quite purifying as well that you guys could look at doing. But if you don't want to meditate, which I would highly recommend, there's also some other things that you can do to be mindful that we do. It's like journaling.
So exactly right. It's just like that level of awareness and that consciousness. It's like what we've been talking about for so long it's been the mantra of our own podcast. It's self-reflection. You know what I mean? It's like really taking the time to be aware of yourself. Well, who are you? What are you doing? Why do you do, like really think about it. Why do you do the things that you do? Why do I show up late? Why am I?
You've been meditating for so long and we still don't know.
I learned it from Nick. Anyway, no, why do I show up late? Why does these things trigger me? These are all super important things that you can only achieve by being conscious, by being aware, by being mindful, by journaling, right? And I'm the biggest advocate for that. And to this, I've been doing it for a while now of actually really religiously journaling in some form throughout my day. I used to, and now I'm literally like, I journal and I self-reflect multiple times throughout my day. Nick's seen my book of just looks like absolute nonsense. That's me reflecting. That's me, like as people are talking, I write how I feel or notes about those things. And that's just me kind of being aware as like why I feel the way I feel about those things. So I really recommend that to everybody. Just have a book that you just write shit in. It doesn't have to be organized. My book makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't need to make sense.
It doesn't need to
make sense to you.
Exactly.
And I think that if you have something that's like a pocket, like I've recently purchased like a pocket kind of journal where you just keep in your pocket, because there's so many times throughout your day that you're going to have like a particular thought or a feeling, and you just want to be able to take the time and give yourself permission to just write it down, because you can't make sense of it sometimes until you actually visualize it and you can see it. And that's what I found that's so beautiful about journaling. And one of the things that I got trapped in, and I think a lot of people get trapped in as well, is the structure when it comes to journaling and reflecting, thinking it needs to be done this way or another way, where it's like, not really. There's no actual structure to how it needs to be done. This is just for you.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, it just needs to make sense for you. So however you want to do it, can be messy, can be whatever.
Clean, whatever.
Does not matter.
Yeah, and like just to go off on a slight tangent is I found in terms of your reactiveness, when you're about to have a conversation that is going to be a difficult conversation about things, I think it's very important that we're taking the time to really spill out our thoughts on a paper before having that conversation. Because I think that once you've written it down, you're able to really reflect on your emotions and say, okay, this is how I feel. But you can be like, okay, well, why do I actually feel that? And dissect that and see it from somebody else's perspective or see it from whatever. And you can have a lot more of a robust conversation with yourself rather than just reacting to shit. And that's one of the biggest things that I've been doing, especially in, platonic, romantic, whatever relationships that I'm in, is really before I get into an argument or get into something that pisses me off or whatever, if you look at my phone notes, there's so many messages to you, to all the boys, to whatever it is that I would never send, because that's how I felt at the moment. When I reflect on it, I can be able to be like, okay, shit, that's why I felt that. And the reason why I felt that is because of this, this, and this. I can have that conversation with myself and realize that, okay, well, that's a very reactive response rather than hearing myself and hearing you out.
And I think like to tie it all up, the beauty of that, what I took away is just the ability to slow down and be like, I don't have to react straight away. Like we really don't.
You don't.
A lot of times we feel like we have to give this response or I have to answer. Even like when you have conversations with people, when they ask you a question, you feel like straight away I have to answer, but like you don't. You can take your time and really dissect and think about what you're thinking about before you actually say it. And I think that, I didn't know, I'm keen to see some of these messages as well that you're actually feeling. But yeah, I think that's amazing, man.
Perfect. Yeah, for sure.
Sweet.
But look, that's all it was. Short and sweet, quick little 15, 20, whatever it was. Yeah. Peace and love, guys. You already know where to do the ting.
Yes, sir. So, more announcements. Obviously, we've launched a recharge program, guys. So, if you guys want to be part of that, the website's coming soon. So, you're going to be able to just opt in from there if you want to. But in the meantime, you can just reach out to us on Instagram. We'll drop a link to that page and you can subscribe and register for it. More podcasts coming soon. A lot more exciting stuff coming soon. We're working so hard to just make this the biggest and best platform for you guys, so you guys can just own yourselves and just express yourselves and just unapologetically be you.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all is, guys. So stay tuned for that. But peace and love. See you guys next week.
Peace.